Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bro. When I come back in the video today, we're going to be taking a look at my week 15 prediction, seeing how I did. I went 11 and 5. We're going to be seeing who I picked to win in week 16. So let's take a look and see. Okay, let's scroll down. Week 15, week 15, 15, 9, 10, 11, 12. And right here. First game I got wrong, Carolina versus Dallas. I thought Carolina was going to win. Dallas was looking like they weren't going to be able to pull a lot of strings and make a lot of good effort this season. So I really felt like that was part of the problem. But I was wrong. Dallas ended up blowing out Carolina in a close game that we got. Coming up next was Miami versus Houston. I mean, I thought Miami could win. They were playing good. They're in a warm temperature, so I really thought that they would play a lot better football. Turnovers definitely cost them the game. Next up, we got Jacksonville versus Jets. Jacksonville just seemed better. Jets just got the last minute of play. Aaron Rodgers went off and was able to make a big play. Next up, Detroit, Buffalo. Buffalo just didn't seem like they were in it the previous week. The previous week when they played the Rams, I didn't think that they'd be able to win. And Detroit was playing so good. I just thought that, but the game could have been completely different if the coach didn't go for an onside kick with 12 minutes left. But that's here nor there. Next up, Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I just felt like wasn't playing as good of football as Pittsburgh at the time. But coming out of it, it was silly of me to choose Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh, yeah. Next up, we got Denver versus Chargers. Denver winning. Denver's just an overall better team up front than this Chargers team, and I feel like they can make a lot more better plays coming out. Next up, Houston versus Kansas City. I know, shocker. Kansas City winning. Again, I think I've predicted every single Kansas City game correct this season. Don't quote me on that, but they've just been looking super good. I have them. If Mahomes is playing this game, I think they can win this game. If not, I don't know. But next up, we got Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. I got Baltimore winning. Pittsburgh just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to win this game. I just feel like Baltimore can win this game pretty strongly, especially with taking out Henry last week, taking out Lamar really in the fourth quarter, letting them rest, I feel like was smart of coach to do. Next up, we got Cleveland versus Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati winning Cleveland, going with DTR now. I just don't see them winning that game with DTR. And if Burrow, Chase, Higgins are out there, there is no way that this Cleveland defense will be able to stop them enough to where their offense can score. Next up, we got Atlanta versus Giants. Atlanta played a solid game last week. But yeah, they're switching quarterbacks. They're going with Penix this week. But I still think Giants lose this game. They play their quarterback, and not having a quarterback back there that is constantly back there is a huge flaw for a team. So yeah, next up we got Arizona versus Carolina. I got Carolina winning. Arizona's a solid team, and they could potentially win this game. But I could see Carolina winning this. They've come back from games where it seems like they're down. They could have easily won a lot of big games this season. They're very close games. Next up, Detroit versus Chicago. It's easy for me to say this, but Detroit, I feel like it's going to win. Chicago could possibly win this, but I got to give it to Detroit. Detroit, if Campbell doesn't make risky play calls, it's easy to see that Detroit can win. Next, we got Tennessee versus Indianapolis. I got Indianapolis winning. Tennessee is solid, but I don't think that they're good enough to beat this Indianapolis team. They could be in the Broncos team. That fumble, which just led to the fumble. I think it was the fourth quarter, led to the huge momentum shift in the game. Next up, we got Rams versus Jets. I got Rams winning. Rams have just been looking so good. If they play like they did against Buffalo, they're easily going to win against this Jets team. Next up, we got Washington versus Philadelphia. I got Washington winning. I think they won the game earlier this season, but Washington could play a solid game against this Philadelphia team. I think they can easily win this game over this Philadelphia team. Next up, we got Minnesota versus Seattle. Seattle got killed last week by... I shouldn't say killed. They got beaten by Green Bay, and potentially not having their quarterback in Geno Smith this week is definitely going to cause a lot more mishaps for this team. So I'm picking Minnesota win. Next up, we got Buffalo versus New England. I mean, if it's in Buffalo, snow's gonna be heavy. Drake May can't pass the ball. Well, in this, it could be hard to. It's gonna be hard to pass the ball in the weather. I just see it being pretty easy for Buffalo to win this game, especially on the back of having a very mobile quarterback and a great running back. Next up, we got Jacksonville versus Raiders. I mean, Raiders played an okay game, but Jacksonville went toe to toe against the Jets, almost won. Now knowing that Trevor Lawrence isn't coming back, I could easily see Jacksonville winning. Next up, we got San Francisco versus Miami. I have Miami winning. I think it's gonna be. This game is definitely gonna be this game could go either way. I mean, really, both teams have their games when they're on and when they're off, and I feel like this week Miami might be on, especially after the loss last week. Next up, Tampa Bay versus Dallas. I mean, it's easy to see that Tampa's going to win this game. Dallas hasn't been looking good, and Tampa Bay was just killing the Chargers last week. You know, Baker's just been playing solid football this season. Like Evans is, even with the injuries, could get another 1,000-yard season. And then the final game of the week, New Orleans versus Green Bay. I got Green Bay winning. New Orleans just hasn't been looking good this season. I really think that Green Bay can win this and stay in the playoff race. So yeah, guys, that's my predictions. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.